Hi everyone. So in the part first of this discussion of previous year questions paper on the topics of fundamental rights (TPSP), we have done with question number 5. Now we are starting with question number 6. Okay, before that, let us see the questions. In these questions, so right to privacy is protected as an intrinsic part of right to life and personal liberty. Which of the following in the Constitution of India correctly and appropriately imply the above statement? Okay. So this is the correct answer is C. Okay. Part 3. So Puttaswamy case, Article 21, Supreme Court interpreted that the right to privacy is the part of the right to life and personal liberty under Article 21. Now, which article of the Indian Constitution safeguards one's right to marry the persons of one choice? So Article 21. Okay. Again, 2020. Which one of the following categories of fundamental rights incorporate protection against untouchability as a form of discrimination? So, right to freedom. So, B will be the correct answer. Now, right to privacy is protected under which of the article of the Constitution? So, Article 21. Now, next question, question number 6. Which of the following statements is are true of the fundamental duties of the Indian citizen? A legislative process has been provided to enforce these duties. No, fundamental duties are not enforceable in any court. So this statement is not correct. So we will eliminate these two. Okay. Now moving to the next. They are correlative to legal duties. Correlative to legal duties. I don't know about this. So D is the correct answer. Correlative. So let us see the explanation. Okay. The Constitution does not provide for their direct enforcement by the courts. Moreover, there is a no legal sanction against their violation. There is a no correlative relation between legal and fundamental duties because fundamental duties are non enforceable. So D will be the correct answer. Now let us move to the next question. In the context of India, which one of the following is the correct relationship between fundamental rights and duties? Sorry, not fundamental rights and duties. Rights are correlative with duties. No, that is not the correct thing. Why? Because rights are enforceable by the courts but duties are not. So uh, this statement should be incorrect, but they have given the correct answer as a, let me see. So rights are what we want others to do for us, whereas the duties are those acts which we should perform for others. Thus, a right comes with an obligation to show respect for the rights of others. The obligations that accompany rights are in the form of duties. So, statement one is so. This is why this is correct. Now, question number 8. Which principle among the following was added to the directive principles of state policy by the 42nd Amendment to the Constitution? Okay, which principle among the following was added to the directive principle of state policy by the 42nd? Okay, fair enough. So, participation of workers in the management of industries. This was added by Madam Indira Gandhi. So the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976 added four directive principles to the original list. They required the state to secure opportunities for healthy development of children. Article 39 to promote equal justice and to provide free legal aid to poor. Article 39A to take steps to secure the participation of workers in the management of industries, protect and improve the environment and to safeguard forest and wildlife. Article 48A. Which one of the following statement is correct? Rights are claim of state against the citizen. No, this is exactly opposite. Okay, rights are claim of the citizen against the state. So this is incorrect. Rights are privileges which are incorporated in the Constitution of India. State galat hai. Rights are claim of citizen against the state. So this is the correct. So this is exactly from the your NCRT. Okay, class 11. I hope they have given yes, class 9 NCRT democratic rights. Okay, rights are legal, legal and moral entitlements or claims of a person over other fellow beings, over society and over government. Okay, so that is blue thing. So question number 10. Consider the following statement with reference to the Constitution of India. The directive principle of state policy constitutes limitation upon. So limitation. Directive principle of state policy constitute limitations upon. So Legislative function, executive function, no, none of them are correct. So neither one or not. Why? Because they are saying constitutional limitation. See, DPSP are not something which is binding on the legislative function or executive function. They are just there to give them a right path. Okay, to lead them to follow a good path. Okay, so that is the thing. That the principle of a state policy cannot act as constant or limitation on the government because they are not enforceable and they are fundamental to the governance of a country. Fundamental rights operate as a limitation on the tyranny of the executive and arbitrary laws of the legislature. Now, directive principle, so non-justiciable policies in UCC, prohibition of consumption of alcoholic liquor, promotion of cottage industries, prevention of slaughter of useful cattle. Okay, all this. Now, fundamental rights. There is a question from fundamental rights. Which of the following are regarded as the main features of the rule of law? Rule of law. So, main feature of the rule of law: limitation of powers, equality before law. Yes, equality before law. This is correct. People's responsibility to the government. No, liberty and civil. So A one, two, and four is the correct answer. C will be the correct answer. Okay. Now moving to the next. Right to privacy is protected. Right to privacy. Right to privacy is protected as an intrinsic part of the right to life and which of the first Article 21 I told you. Okay. So Supreme Court in the case Pitta Swami and others versus Union of India has said that the right to privacy is an integral part of right to life and personal guarantee in the Article 21. Okay. So Article 21, so right to livelihood, right to pollution-free environment, right to privacy, right to shelter, right to electricity, right to information, right to health, right to free education up to 14 years of age, right to free legal aid. Okay, all these are the part of Article 21. So right to electricity is also there, right to shelter is also there, the right to health is also there, right to information is also there. Okay, so that is the thing. Now, which article of the Constitution of India safeguards one's right to marry the persons of one's choice? Article 21, again, the correct answer. Now, which part of the Constitution of India declares the ideal of welfare state? So, DPSP. Okay. With reference to the provisions contained in Part 4 of the Constitution of India, which of the following statement is are correct? So, Part 4, they're asking about Part 4. This shall be enforceable by courts. Incorrect. They shall not be enforceable by the court. This is correct. The principle laid down in this part are to influence the making of laws by the. Yes, that is true. So D will be the correct answer. Now, question number 16. Which one of the following categories of fundamental rights incorporated for protection against untouchability as a form of discrimination? Untouchability right to equality. D is the correct answer. In India, separation of judiciary from executive is enjoyed by. So this is your part. I think four. DPSP. Yes. Now, 18. Other than the fundamental rights, which of the following parts of the Constitution of India reflects the principal provision in our clear and declare? So, all of them fundamental duties, preamble, and DPSP. Right to privacy is protected Article 21. Again, so repeated question. A legislation which confers on the executive authority and unguided, uncontrolled discretion power in the matter of application of law violates which of the following Article 14, of course, right to equality. Uh, Under the Indian Constitution, consideration of wealth violates right to equality, right to principle of state policy. B should be the correct answer. Now, what is the position of right to property in India? Legal rights available to any person. So, this should be the correct answer. Now, I think we are left with few questions more. This one to writs issued by courts in India consider the following. Mandovas will not lie against a private organization unless it is trusted with the public duty. Correct. Mandovas will not lie against a company even though it may be a common company. This is also correct. Any public minded person can be petitioned to move the court to obtain the writ of quo warranto. Yes. So D is the correct answer. In essence, what does due process of law means? So the principle of natural justice. A correct statement we have to test. According to Constitution of India, central government has a duty to protect state from internal disturbance. Correct. Article 300, I think something. Or the Constitution of India exempt the state from providing legal counsel to a person being held. This is incorrect. According to Prevention of Terrorism Act 2000, confession of the accused before the police cannot be used as evidence. Yes, two of them are correct. So B will be the correct answer. Now, the Supreme Court of India has held in some judgment that the reservation policy made under Article 16, Clause 4 of the Constitution of India would be limited by Article 335 for the maintenance of efficiency of the administration. Yes, Article 335 of the Constitution of India defines no, this is incorrect. So, statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. So, C will be the correct answer. Under which of the following articles would the Supreme Court place the right to privacy? Again, Article 21. Writ of prohibition is an order issued by Supreme Court or High Court to prohibition. So you are prohibiting someone. So lower court prohibiting continuation of proceeding in a case. Uh, so we are I know we have completed discussion of all the questions. Okay, so the next session will be on the preamble. Okay, so thank you very much.